Meanwhile, the Epstein files have claimed a victim, but it's only a sacrificial lamb to actually save the hide of Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Starmer is under huge pressure to quit after he ignored a mountain of evidence that Labor campaign genius Lord Peter Mandelson, shown in the Jeffrey Epstein files in Epstein's home in his underwear, that he was actually far too close to the convicted pedophile, and Starmer still appointed Mandelson as ambassador to the US. Now, the Epstein files record Mandelson feeding Epstein inside information. He denies the allegations, but instead of taking the blame for appointing a dirty mate to such a powerful job, Starmer has effectively sacked his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, for allegedly persuading him to hire Mandelson as top diplomat to the US. Joining me from London is our Monday regular Talk TV host, Samara Gill. Samara, great to see you. Why is McSweeney sacked when it's actually his boss, Keir Starmer himself, who made the call to hire Peter Mandelson?
Well, it's great to be on, Andrew. Look, most of the Australian audience basically must be thinking, who is this guy, Morgan McSweeney? He sort of sounds like a deckhand on a pirate ship or something. And that's because he kind of is, actually. He's basically the guy with the funny Irish name that was literally in charge of the country for the past couple of years. He was the force behind Starmer, advising him on every single move that he did. Now, people in Westminster call him a sort of political genius. The fact that he has been making the decisions that have plummeted our country, the UK, into the disarray that it now is, does make me think, no, he's not a political genius. But you're right. I think, he was almost the Dick Cheney to the Bush Jr. in this situation. The issue here is that Mandelson is someone who completely shepherded McSweeney into his position of power, fostered him into the very high ranks of Labor. And in my opinion, that kind of made people, or basically McSweeney, think that Mandelson would be a good slot for the ambassador to the US. Now, obviously, they basically went above security clearances to put Mandelson in this position. And you're right. I think Starmer is acting like a bit of a dictator here by making his own aide, who put him in this position of power, fall on his own sword.
A fall guy. This is Keir Starmer blaming his staff when, Samara, he once boasted this was exactly what he would never do. Here he is.
And when they made mistakes, I carried the can. I never turn on my staff, and you should never turn on your staff.
He's a hypocrite.
A hypocrite. But will sacking McSweeney actually stop Starmer from being sacked himself by his Labor colleagues?
I was down in Hastings on Thursday with Keir Starmer, kind of following him in my political journalist capacity over at Talk, and he seemed absolutely enraged. This was the first time he'd come out since the whole Mandelson scandal, and the whole speech was punctuated by Mandelson and the sort of he was called the Prince of Darkness, and he was casting his shadow over that day. He seemed more, as I said, dictatorial in the way that he was upset with what Mandelson has done. Keir Starmer is someone who will grab onto power and do whatever he can to hold on to it. He didn't let someone called Andy Burnham, who was wanting to challenge his leadership. He's a mayor, so he didn't let him then run for Parliament. He blocked that. He got rid of Angela Rayner, who was a very strong contender to usurp him. This is someone who was almost like a rat backed into the corner, who was just sort of with his beady eyes looking at anyone to throw in his direction under the bus. So I really don't think Starmer's acting with clarity. We are on resignation watch over here. But he said yesterday that he would go and do a speech at Number 10, and then he U-turned on that within an hour, and then we were getting reports from Number 10 that he wasn't going to do a speech. So this is someone with absolutely no backbone, no conviction. I mean, can you imagine Churchill saying, yes, I'm going to address the nation, and then cowering into his corner? I don't think so. We've totally fallen from grace, Andrew.
Well, if you're on resignation watch, I mean, there are a number of his colleagues actually openly briefing the media that, oh, this is terrible, this is shocking, you should be going. If Keir Starmer is dumped as British Prime Minister, who will take over?
It's a great question. A lot of people are saying that our Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, who actually has presided over 60,000 deportations under her her residency in that position, might take over. But she did swear her name on the Quran. She is a devout Muslim, which is no issue, but it might be an issue for some of the electorate and some of the voters in the United Kingdom who are fearing a so-called Islamic takeover. So her faith may be a problem in her her bid for the leadership. Angela Rayner was spotted yesterday getting a fresh blow dry and getting her hair done at a hairdresser who very innocently posted it on Instagram, and now everyone's saying that she might be the contender. She's obviously got a very big axe to grind for Starmer, who sanctimoniously did get rid of her because of a tax affair. But then there's also Wes Streeting, who would be the first gay prime minister if he was elected into power. So there are quite a few, but the resignation of McSweeney signifies a lot more about the actual movement of Labour. He was the one who was always trying to put Labour into the middle ground. What we now, I think, are going to get is actually worse, which is a far left Labour, which is something the country doesn't need right now.
Absolutely. Samara, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.